Great Spears, my favorite weapon class in the entire game. Even though nothing compares to the Mogwin Spear, the Great Spears still have an amazing lineup, one of them being the Siluria's Tree, a weapon you unlock in Deep-Root Depths. It has split holy damage and physical damage, but don't let that holy damage scare you, as this weapon is one of the most powerful weapons in the entire game. The Siluria's Tree has a regular R1 from Great Spears, but an amazing R2, which Mesmer's Spear should have gotten, but instead, it got this horrible charge attack, but we're not going to be talking about that for this video. There's really not much else I can talk about, so I'm just going to talk about its skill, Siluria's Woe. Siluria's Woe is an amazing skill. It is chargeable, so you can amp it with the Godfrey icon, and it is absolutely absurd. Even against holy resistant bosses like Malekith with 80% resistance, I was still able to do 1,700 damage. And not to mention the charge time is weirdly generous, and it does give you a weird amount of hyper armor for some reason, so you're not likely to be hit out of it unless a boss hits you really, really hard. Now, because of its physical damage, very high physical damage too, this weapon was able to go up against Radagon, Elden Beast, and Malekith pretty well, but it made Consort Radahn Phase 1, Mesmer Phase 2, and Putrescent Knight extremely easy, due to them being weak to Holy. Now notice how I didn't say Commander Gaius. Commander Gaius is also weak to Holy, but unlike these other three bosses, Commander Gaius's arena is horrible for this weapon. This is the biggest downside of the weapon, and it's that this weapon skill can just straight up miss, and not even miss, it's just going to hit something that you would imagine it never hitting. Like, look at this. And I can't tell you how many times it hit Commander Gaius's arena when I thought it wouldn't. I wanted to do that charge attack when he was doing his charge attack, but I couldn't, because every single time, this weapon would hit the ground. So yeah, this weapon can just straight up miss sometimes. Unless it's Romina, because what in the actual hell is this? And for one last negative, it's probably just me and it's not the weapon itself, but I swear, every single time I try to get a stance break with this weapon, it just won't work. And I don't understand why. Like, it's not like it gets lower stance damage than the other spears, so why can I never stance break with this thing? Now granted, this run came after these two weapons, which are absolute stance monsters, but still, I expected just far more stance damage. However, to be on a more positive side, this weapon is really easy to buff and gets a lot of buffs for it. Now, I would never suggest a guard counter build with this weapon. Just a quick announcement, it's not like Mogwin's Spear where it can be good with guard counters. Just never, ever use this weapon with guard counters. However, for holy damage, charge attacks, pierce attacks, they're all good. If you guys are wondering, here are the talismans I used for the run, along with the level. Don't worry how I got the Warrior Jar Shard. Alexander gave it to me kindly. Yeah, he gave it to me kindly. Anyways, that's the weapon. Comment down below what you would like to see next. The next weapon I will be reviewing, however, is the Fire Knight Greatsword.